All right, welcome back. We are doing a English ordinary bitter. I've done a bitters before. I've changed up this recipe a little bit.
Evening, everybody.
What's the latest, Mr. Peterson?
Zsa Zsa marries a millionaire. Peterson drinks a beer. Film at 11.
I'll run down the recipe real quick. So we're doing 6 pounds, 4 ounces of Briess Otter, 4 ounces of Caramel Crystal 120, 4 ounces of Golden Promise, 2 ounces of Carafoam, 2 ounces of light chocolate, which is mine is a 225 SRM, and 2 ounces of special roast, which mine is 30 SRM. We are using East Kent Goldings only, 0.75 ounces of East Kent Golding at 60 minutes, 0.25 ounces of East Kent Golding at 15 minutes, and then another half ounce at 5 minutes, and then another half ounce at doing a Whirlpool. I'm just using SO4 for my yeast. I should have an original gravity of 1035. IBUs are 30, and the SRM is 9.6. This will be approximately 3.4%. So low alcohol, hopefully lots of flavor. I was just going through my notes from the last time I made it, and I did make a comment. This came out terrific. So it was a couple years ago, so I don't really remember what it tastes like. Sorry, I got an itch. So waiting for the temp to get up. We got to get mash in at 156, and then we'll do a single infusion at 152. And then our normal mash out at 168. Like and subscribe. Got some gear. Check it out. I'm going to be putting some new stuff up too. Some other ideas I've got. So we'll continue on with the brew day. So we almost had our first screw up. I was getting ready to hydrate my yeast. As I said, I'm using SO4, and I wasn't looking, and I pulled out Safe K97 and almost didn't read the package closely, so I actually had to throw out that yeast because I had already opened it. So then I got out my SO4 and I got that hydrating right now, so that'll be ready when the time comes. A near miss. All right, so we're up to our temp. So we'll dough in. Yee! A little bit after. All right, 60-minute mash. We'll check the pH in 10. So I did something that I never do. On Beersmith, they actually will tell you how much lactic acid to add into your mash to bring it up to the proper pH. So this recipe called for 12.1 milliliters. I added 8 milliliters and my pH was 4.8. And I never add lactic acid in my mash until after I take a pH. But this time I just added it in because Beersmith, I just did. Anyways, so now I'm trying to get it back up again by adding some baking soda. So that sucks. All right, so the mash is done. We're going to mash out 168. Oh, there we go. All right, I'll turn off the pump. I'll heat the wort up while we're letting that drain. Our pre-boil get gravity is 1028, and it's supposed to be 1028. So there you go. For 60 minutes, the boil just started. I just added my first edition of East Kent Golding hops, which was 3/4 of an ounce. All right, So we are now adding our 15-minute addition, which is going to be 1/4 ounce of East Kent Orflock tablet and yeast nutrient. All right, so we are running the pump through the plate chiller, using the plate chiller today, even though I am not using my hop spider, because my counterflow chiller, there is a crack in one of the copper pipes and I haven't got around to fixing it yet, so I can't use it. So we're going to take our chances with the plate chiller. I've done this before and the plate chiller was fine. It didn't clog up or anything. There's not a huge amount of hops in this anyways, 2 ounces I think total. There was 2 ounces total, so I think we'll be all right. All right, 5 minutes left in the boil, and we are adding a 1/2 ounce of Kent Golding. And then after the 5 minutes, we're going to be doing our Whirlpool edition. Whirlpool.
Whirlpool. Brian? You heard me.
All right, so we are at 181. We're going to fluctuate probably 185, 190 for our Whirlpool. Adding in our last edition, our Whirlpool edition, 1/2 ounce East Kent Golding. And we're going to let that go for 20 minutes. Now we're just filling the fermenter. And we had a pretty good hop cone with that Whirlpool. Came out probably one of the best ones. Thanks for sticking around to the end. We're going to be doing the tasting now. So this, again, my English Ordinary Bitter. One of my first beers I've done in a while that actually fell out of the BJCP guidelines. But it only fell out a little bit, nothing major. So we'll go over the stats real quick before we get into the tasting of it. So the Ordinary Bitter 11A BJCP guidelines falls under the British bitters. And so this one, the original gravity was supposed to be 1030 to 1039. Mine was 1033. The final gravity on this was fall between 1007 and 1011, and mine was 1011. ABV is supposed to be between 3.2 and 3.8. This is where mine fell out. Mine was 2.9. Original gravity finished on the lower side of what's acceptable, and my final gravity finished on the very upper end of what's acceptable, resulting in my 2.9% alcohol. IBUs are supposed to be between 25 and 35. Mine are 30.7 or 31. And SRM are supposed to be between 8 and 14. Mine's 9.6. So all of those fell in according to what they're supposed to be. Just the ABV is a little low. And I'm only 0.3% off from the low end. So we already went over the recipe. I'm not going to go over that all over again. Before we get into the tasting, I'll do one other thing. Fermentation. So I fermented this at 64 degrees pretty much for about 5 days. It almost was to the end of the fermentation. And I bumped it up to 70 for 2 days. And then I cold crashed. And my cold crash, to get down to cold crash temperature, usually takes 4 to 5 days. I do it very gradual. And then I cold crash usually total at cold crash temperature usually around 2 days. So total days in the fermenter were 12 days on this one. When I first tried this, and I kegged it on a Sunday, so I think Tuesday, which was just a couple days ago, it was carved up enough that I gave it a shot, and it's probably because of low alcohol, very thin. It seemed very thin. It's only been a couple more days since then, and actually the flavors are starting to really get a lot better on this. So it doesn't seem as thin as it was when I originally tried it. So the color is, like I said, a 9 point something or another. What did I say it was? I forgot already. 9.6. As you can see here, you know, it's got a nice color to it. If I can hold it up, I can see the color here, but you're probably not going to be able to see it there. But it's a tan. I'd say a dark tan, not quite brown. Crystal clear. Again, I used findings on this. I've been remembering the best I can to do my findings, but I don't know if you can see me. Can you? I don't know. So anyways, appearance-wise, came out really good. Appearance-wise, I would say is very good. I got these new glasses here. I did read that this shape of tulip glass is actually better for tasting beer, for you doing tastings. So slight malt. I mean, this is very low malt aroma. Very slight caramel. Pretty much what it's supposed to be, though. No hop aroma at all on this. You're not getting anything on this. Little floral. Nothing. Aroma is not abundant, I guess we can say. Very subdued. We went over appearance. We'll stop in for the flavor. I'd say a medium, moderate, malty flavor. Dries up pretty quick. I'd say light-bodied. Yeah, definitely a light-bodied beer from the mouthfeel. Carbonation is not supposed to be very high. It's supposed to be a lower on the lower end. Mine's, you know, head's already gone on it. Bubbles are still coming up, but, you know, they're slow. There's a bitterness to this, but it's not like an IPA bitterness. It's not a real hoppy bitterness. It reminds me more of like a bitter coffee. And not the coffee flavor, but just that bitterness you might get from a bitter coffee. That's sort of what it reminds me of. It's not really hop biting bitterness, but it's just a coffee bitterness. It's lacing very nice. I do like this glass. I only got one because these things are not cheap. There's a slight caramel toffiness to it. Nothing overpowering. Everything is very subtle. Nothing is just jumping out at you, one flavor or something over the other. It's all sort of very balanced. Except for maybe the bitterness, and obviously it's a bitter beer. That's really the only thing that I can tell that is a higher level than all the rest of flavors in the beer. Everything else sort of seems level playing field, just sort of doing their own part, but came out really well, came out really good. I'm really like the way this came out. I think if my ABV was up a little bit, it wouldn't be as thin in the mouth as it is. I think it should be bumped up a little bit. I'm not really sure. This recipe I've done before, which came out right in the guidelines. This one was a little low. Maybe I just didn't get the conversion, I guess, on this one as well as I have in the past. Probably could have extended the boil a little bit. Would have brought probably a little bit more of the roasty, toastiness of it out, and would have bumped up that ABV. Like and subscribe. Leave comments down below. Again, I picked up some new subscribers. I'm really grateful for that. Thank you for joining. As you can see on the keezer, we got all 4 taps now up and running. So I had added a 4th tap. I only had 3 originally. I added a 4th, and so I just did a beer line clean the other day and cleaned everything out, took apart all the taps and cleaned them. And so now we got all 4 up and running. I'm happy about that. I can probably add more. I can probably do about 6, but I don't think I'm going to have 6 beers on tap at one time. But hey, you never know. We'll see. So we got some new stuff coming up, some different things coming up. So, you know, stick around, watch your notifications for new videos coming out, and join me in making some delicious beers. Cheers. Hope to see you again. My English bitter. Damn good beer. I must say, look at that. That looks pretty cool. Huh? All right, time for lunch. I'm hungry.